Them Swansons.
Welcome to today's show.
Hi, babe.
Hi.
How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Good. How you been?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah.
You gonna be all right?
Yeah.
Okay. You ready to do this?
Sure.
All right. So,
He's my favorite guy.
who's your favorite guy?
Poppa Swanny. Oh.
Outside of me?
Yeah, outside of you.
Thank you for clarifying.
Yeah.
You want to do a recap?
No, I don't do recaps. You told me I couldn't.
Ah! So, here we go again. I've been good all day. In the previous episode, we talked about Darlene.
The baddest chick in the city.
That episode was therapy. We realized that she had a path that nobody else knew. So I see where I get it from.
Yeah.
From having stuff in my head, but it don't always translate out.
It don't.
But she was a force to be reckoned with.
Yes.
She's ever in my mind still. Her lessons are still in my head. And she helped me out. And she helped out a lot of people, even if they did not know that her hand was in it.
Yeah, very much so.
She was that person.
Yeah.
So you want to continue on with this particular episode?
What do you mean?
About Pops.
Okay.
You're up.
I'm up?
Yeah.
Okay, so yeah. How does it feel to have your dad be my favorite guy?
I'm jealous.
Why are you jealous?
Yeah. This dude looks forward to seeing you more than he looks forward to seeing me. Shall I tell a short story?
I don't know. Go ahead.
She bought my daddy a onesie.
He loves that onesie though. He has several now.
He came to the house and I think I had one on.
Yeah, you were wearing it.
And he was like, "Are you serious?" I was like, "What?" He's like, "Son, you having a onesie?" I said, "Dad, this thing is motherfucking comfortable." He's like, "Oh no, thing don't look right." So she buys him one. Now she's his favorite person.
Well, we also have to explain that I had started buying all of Poppa Swanny's winter clothes.
Remember? Damn, yeah.
my dude.
Okay.
Anyway, let's talk about Poppa Swanny when you were a kid.
Okay. Where you want to start?
What's your fondest memory?
Growing up,
yes,
and as an adult, it turns out that my memories are weird because we're having conversations with him and he's like, "You still doing that shit, son?"
Right. Because Troy be eating fried potatoes and drinking a glass of milk.
Bruh,
who does that?
My daddy.
He doesn't even do it anymore.
What's wrong with your dog?
That's your dog. What's his name and why he got it? It's your dog.
Anyway, youngest memory would
I said fondest.
Fondest?
Because we know your memory is trash, and I don't want you to have to dig too deep. Too far.
Fondest just came up to mind was when we took our plane ride to California to see my grandfather for the first time.
Okay.
I'd never met him.
Okay, how'd they go?
We went to Disneyland. End of story.
Don't take much for you, huh?
I was a fucking kid. You took my ass to Disneyland. I was solid. Couldn't tell me shit. He was the best motherfucker around.
You get some Mickey ears?
I probably no, because he didn't spend money on frivolous shit, and he still don't.
So he was very much Leonard-like.
Maybe. But as a kid, growing up, looking back at it, fondest memory was honestly, like we've tried to record this a couple times, and every time we record it, the episode is slightly different. I don't really have harsh or bad memories of it because he was always consistently that person. I knew I was loved. I know I was chosen.
Mm-hmm.
The things I needed, I had. And let me change that. I think the best lesson he gave me was knowing the difference between my wants and my needs.
Okay.
Pops taught me early that okay, fondest. This dude would get paid on a Thursday, and we would go to the bank on Thursday, and he would cash his check, and he would put all his money in the bank, but he would carry $300 cash, and that's what we spent for the week: groceries, gas, food, movies, whatever. If we ran out of money, we just ran out of money. And so wants and needs was how much we got. And if I wanted something, it came out of what we had. It wasn't going to the bank. It wasn't going into savings. It wasn't. This is what we got.
You was choosing between the Jordans and the Batman. You was making pennies.
I ain't never have no Jordans. Even as an adult, I still have never gotten a pair of Jordans ever. Because at this point, wants and needs are two different things. It's okay because I probably wouldn't wear them. Like, I've always wanted a pair of Jordans because the closest that I got to Jordans was in 9th grade BKs. British Knights.
How was that close to Jordans, though?
That because that's the most expensive pair of shoes of tennis attire that I've ever had.
Okay. See,
Because
my dad used to give me with that ghetto trendy stuff that he buy, which I know as an adult translated into we was broke and he couldn't afford that. So don't be asking.
Nah, it was British Knights was probably the most expensive tennis that I ever had. Everything else was casual shoes, loafers, and Stacy's. I had tons of Stacy's.
Because Poppa Swanny was raising a gentleman.
Yeah, like there was a difference between wants and needs. Like, I was a kid that from a small age was wearing khakis and the
Izod.
Yeah.
You had Izod.
And that was her brand.
That's because you had to go to meetings with Darlene, though, right?
No, because I had to sit my ass quietly in the fucking corner.
But you was still at said meeting.
There's a difference. But that's where we were. And yeah. Fondness was wants and needs.
Okay. That's cool. So tell me about these dinners that you and Poppa Swanny used to have with y'all milk and y'all potatoes. What else y'all used to eat? Because I know Poppa Swanny be over there eating wheatgrass right now, and I probably should go over there and eat some with him.
Okay. Cereal in the morning was cornflakes.
Was it? Because I remember you telling me about the cereal that he used to make.
With
Okay.
soybeans, raisins, sunflower seeds, no salt.
What's on your cereal anyway?
A little bit of wheat germ, and what else? That was really maybe some fruit, like a banana, but the banana was already browned because it was soft. Because you couldn't eat no just off the vine banana, so the banana had to be brown on the outside already. And to me, it's like that banana nasty. So did, because I like textures today. But that was cereal. Like, every now and then, I would get some Captain Crunch. I would get some name brand cereal every now and then. But for the most part, it was cornflakes.
Is that why you put all that stuff in your salad now?
Yes, because you seen him eat salads. It take a half an hour to make a fucking salad. Still today. And salad was lettuce, tomatoes, onions, a little bit of peppers, sunflower seeds, soybean still, wheat germ still, um, any type of greenery seeds that you could think of was in, because he had this salad bowl. It was literally, that's probably why we eat out the bowls that we eat now,
I kind of figured that.
because he had this big ass white bowl
Yeah,
that's what we eat.
our salad bowls. I'm like, so we not sharing this? We gonna eat all this? Okay.
Yes.
You get tired of chewing sometimes, but go ahead.
You be full though. You be healthy as fuck. But yeah, so he was that health dude. But yeah, that's
Yeah, because Poppa Swanny will look at you and he won't tell me, oh, you fat. I know he's thinking it. I know he's thinking it.
I got a story, but I can't say it. Anyway, next.
Yeah, we can't.
Yep, exactly, because you know where I'm going. What you got?
So now I know my parents were together until my dad passed,
Mm-hmm.
and Poppa Swanny and Darlene were not. They got divorced when you were what age?
Somewhere between. See,
Because Poppa Swanny told a different story from what you tell.
Because that was.
You said you was 7, and he kind of almost was like you was 12, and
I don't know now.
Okay.
Because of that reason, in my head, I was somewhere between 7 and 8.
Okay.
But again, he tells me.
Well, I would think you would have to be about that age for him to do the Cub Scouts with y'all.
Mm-hmm. Right. So that's why I'm like,
So maybe he was a little off on that one.
But some of the stuff that he was saying, it does line up though.
Yeah.
So Pops is telling full stories now because people have passed.
Everybody go with him.
And time has gone by, and the statute of
Limitations have run out.
And so he's telling the stories, and I'm like, that's not what I heard. And he says, well, you was a kid,
right,
and there's no need for you to know the whole story. So now you have to ask the questions in order to get the correct answers that you're looking for.
I think it's more so he doesn't know what you want to know, and it's not like he's like saving the information. You ask the question, he got an answer for you.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, it's just getting to know him now is just different.
Yeah,
because he's a different person. You want to tell the story, or is that a story that we should keep for Pops to tell? The fuck it jacket. I think he should tell that story.
Yeah.
Stay tuned.
Yeah, because we will have Poppa Swanny on.
But having Pops in my life was good and bad.
Okay.
Great my whole life because I enjoyed it. I loved it. Bad because I didn't know how high of a ceiling he had set unknowingly as a father, as a short time of knowing him as a husband, as a older brother. He set the bar high. Like, there have been very few of his siblings that have not lived in his house for at least 6 months to a year. Even some of his nieces, some of his adult nieces moved in.
Okay.
And they lived with us. And they would have the bigger room. We would stay in the back room. And this was before we had we had the waterbed already, but it was taken down because we were staying in the back of the house, which was weird. I just thought about that. Where he watches TV now is where we would sleep.
Okay.
That's the smallest room.
So was there
in the house?
Or were y'all on the couch?
No, we was on the floor.
So Poppa Swanny take your folk in and y'all don't have a bed. Y'all sleeping on the floor so they can have one.
Some of the people
That's
had
a sacrifice that, you know.
So Some of my aunts and uncles that stayed came with children
Okay.
or child,
Okay.
and some of my older cousins came with child.
Okay.
And so to give them that space
And a little bit of privacy.
and to separate, right?
Yeah.
And so that's what he did. But it was like I said, it was a blessing and a curse because as a husband, like Darlene showed me what a wife was supposed to be in a matter of 5 days. Pop showed me that without me even knowing that that's what he was doing.
Mm-hmm.
And so now my example is him.
Yeah.
And so, like you said, you always trying to be like Pops, but I'm more like Darlene. And to me, that's false. But the older I get, the more I see it's been the switch. But I also see that the protection that Darlene gave me in the lessons allowed me to, her tongue and her penmanship allowed me to flourish in the military. Mm-hmm. But the issue was the stories of Lovell from the Marines and from going to East Side, being the only black person, mm-hmm. well, sorry, being one of the few during that time, made it difficult for me in the military. Okay. Because my tongue was still my tongue. I just didn't have, yeah, and so I didn't have the rank to shield myself from the shit that I was saying. But I still felt it, so I eventually learned that you needed a supervisor that was sympathetic, and you talked to that person only. Okay. So then they voiced your opinion for you.
I think Poppa Swanny is one of the most intentional people that I've ever met. Mm-hmm. Like everything that he does and everything that he did had a purpose, mm-hmm. and he knew that okay, this is why I'm doing this.
Let's talk about sacrifice.
Okay.
You tell a different version of the story about me going to this wilderness camp in the middle of fucking nowhere.
I went to Coats for the summer. Go ahead.
There's this program called STELL, STELLE. It is a small city, and
middle of nowhere, Illinois.
It's technically in the middle of the country. Where when you read that pamphlet as an adult, you have questions. It says, if a nuclear disaster happens, they are so far away from a major city and they're in the center of the country that they would be safe. There's also, the original place was in Texas. Mm. So
I thought they had a different cell in Texas. Like there was 2 locations.
That was the first one.
Okay, so then they branched out.
Mm-hmm.
Then they realized Texas is like on the border, and they might get got, so they moved to Illinois.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, makes sense.
So we looked up this town, and today
they're still there.
The plan looks the same. Like we used a little map on Google, and I'm like, I remember that building. I remember this. This is new. And it's sad that the infrastructure is still small. It's like 2 country blocks wide, and country blocks are normally a mile and a mile. So it's probably 2 country blocks, but it looks the same. But what my dad did was, the first time that I went for I think 2 to 3 weeks, and I was the only black kid in a community of people that didn't look like me. And so you go for a week and you do research on where you're going. I think we went from Illinois in a bus all the way to see the Grand Canyon. So we went to every national park on the route there. And so we planned out each day. You research the animals, you research the sites and the city. You found the campsites that you were going to stay at and all this stuff. And that was leading me up into being in places where I was the only. Mm-hmm. And to include me going to church camp, where at a Lutheran camp, I'm still the only.
Yeah.
And then he eventually had my cousins come with me, and we were still the only. Then we started going to Cub Scout camps. We were typically the only group. And every place that I went, we were the only. But when I went to the military and there were only 5 of us, I was ready.
Right.
The issue was, this was in 92.
They weren't ready.
They weren't ready. And it was problematic because now you have an issue. Now, I didn't bond to the other side because they weren't my people.
Okay.
My people were with us, but I knew how to get what I knew how to survive
Because you had been in
with them. Right. But what also set me up was I've also went to duty stations where sometimes throughout a period of time there will only be maybe 1 or 2 other females, and there may only be 1 or 2 other black folks there. And so that became problematic. And I was already in a field in the band where we were a minority to begin with.
Really? Odd.
There's not that many of us.
Okay.
Even
Because they don't tell us that it's possible.
correct. That this is a pathway for you.
Okay.
But Pops was that dude that when I gave interest, there was the only reason that I played music was because there was a seminarian that was at Unity Lutheran in Washington Park, and he played guitar, just playing songs. And I was like, Dad, I want to learn how to do that. Next thing I know, I'm going to St. Clair Square, and I'm taking lessons.
Intentional.
And then from there, I stayed there for maybe a year or so. But then I started going to Casa. Mm-hmm. And Casa, my teacher was...
Coca?
It was Casa then.
Oh.
It was Thomas Moore. Now, remember, we talked about them long planning.
Right.
Turns out, Thomas Moore played with Ron Carter.
Mm.
Early on. This was still in the 80s. You talking about somewhere between 83 to 86 was, yeah. And so that's when that introduction to Thomas Moore started, and I started playing classical. Mm-hmm. And so that was $20 per lesson. That was a lot of money then.
It was.
Remember, he only took out $300. So I took $20. It did. So that, man, look. So that turned into, well, we think he could do this. He just needs to practice. I hated practicing. But I could get the lessons, but I hated practicing. It came easy to me. I just hated practicing. So then that turned into, because I played classical, I couldn't play in any of the other jazz bands that were in junior high school. In 8th grade, they all had a talk. I didn't know this shit. But apparently, I was getting ready to go to Lincoln. I didn't want to go to fucking Lincoln. I could give a shit about Lincoln because I lived.
You lived in Fairview Heights.
Your mama. This one time. So all my friends looked like others, and so all of them went to the different Belleville schools. So what happened is they made me switch from classical to electric. To me, it was a total different thing. I didn't know, because now you got me reading chords, you got me doing this. It was different. I was playing classical. And so doing that, by the time I hit 9th grade, I started going to, I was still at Clark, but I would leave Clark after school and I would go to Lincoln to sit in with the jazz band. So that was my introduction. By the time I graduated in 92, I'd already joined the military. After that, in '92, 25 years later, I retire playing bass guitar.
Thank you for your service.
You just like my discounts every time we go to Krispy Kreme, Wendy's,
I don't even eat
Nike, Under Armour, everywhere.
Track here is pretty cool.
It is. But yeah, they had a long-term thing that we didn't necessarily.
So, would you say that Poppa Swanny's approach also had a map? It was just a little different. You expressed interest, so he's like, okay, I'm gonna gently nudge him towards this. Whereas Darlene is like, this is what you gonna do.
I think Pops let me figure out what I liked.
Okay.
And gave me the tools to figure out if this is what I liked.
Okay.
And pushed me in those directions with support.
Okay.
While Darlene was like, we're going to do education and this is the way that we're going to go. But then Tawanda and Tam happened. Pivot.
Right.
And so I had to make a choice. And it was like, school don't buy diapers.
Right.
Because Tam was born when I was a senior in high school.
Yeah.
So
being a scholarship to college was not trumping the check you was getting from you were gonna get from the military.
And the military wasn't paying that much then either.
Well, I mean, at least you wouldn't have.
Right.
At least you had a check because college don't give you one.
Right. Because I had to make a choice, and the choice was. Pops basically said, "What you gonna do?" I said, "Well, I'm gonna get a job," and he was like,
"Doing what?"
Yeah. So that turned into, well, I'm gonna join the military. Okay, what you gonna do? And hindsight, Carter had already had the Air Force band to come in, so it just clicked.
I was there, so I remember that.
Yeah. So that's where I got the idea, because we have a preacher now from the jazz band. He was a bass player in the Army during that time when we were in high school.
Okay.
And his brother was in the band playing bass.
Okay.
And so I knew someone that actually played bass in the Army band. And we had a few other cats that were in the Army that would come back and they would talk to us. And I was like, all right, cool. But then when the Air Force band came in and their jazz band was there, and I'm listening to it, I'm like, they were playing the same songs that we were playing. And so we all sitting back here like, shit ain't hard. So after Allstate, my senior year, the very next week, I went to Fort Leonard Wood and I did my audition. And it was easy because Carter prepared us differently than everybody else. Mm-hmm. And so the audition for the military was not as hard as the audition for Allstate for us. Okay. Because we were ready for it. Right. So that was a difference. But yeah, I think that his thing was, let me figure out what I like and I'll support whatever he likes. And whenever that pivot comes, I'll do a slight tug. And if he pulls, then I'll follow him that way. Okay. The same way that the idea of, we talked about this, where me going to Russia and Europe as a kid, Pops, I thought they raised the money like everybody else. Pop said, Darlene will not be embarrassed by begging for no money. So we didn't do no cookouts. We didn't do no dinners. We ain't sell no candy. She ain't beg nobody for nothing. Pops worked overtime and cashed a lot of his savings bonds in order for me to go. And I'm like, I didn't know this. But again, as an adult, he's telling full stories. Right. And so his foresight, his understanding, his sacrifice means a lot. And I don't know what husband he was. I just know what father he was.
I know what husband he raised. And I appreciate, that's really why I appreciate Poppa Swanny so much. because you are the man that you are because of his sacrifice, everything that he taught you.
Yeah, it's weird.
It is. But he's the funniest guy ever.
What else you got?
Like, he's the only guy that I know that'll be at somebody's funeral talking about he's alive and well.
Bro. True story. We're at my mom's funeral. I'm a nervous wreck. I really don't want to go inside. The funeral is too big. It's at the largest church
in the city.
Yeah. There's no parking. Everything's full. My friend Marcus and Topaz had just came in. Oh, fuck. And I had just walked into the limo. And I asked for the limousine to be close by the whole time to allow me space. And so the kids and I are all in the limo, and we see Pops, because Pops said he wasn't coming. Pops doesn't like funerals. He can't stand them because most of his friends are passed. Pops comes in, stays for 5 minutes, gives me a kiss and a hug, says I love you, and he out. I can't even cuss. This joker made the most offhanded joke that makes you love him. We're at my mom's funeral. We're at the entrance of the church. Everyone else is around us. And I said, Pops, how are you doing? He said, it's better to be
Never be seen than viewed. That's why he my dude.
And I look at this joker like, but you have to laugh.
Yeah.
Because that's him. And it's exactly what I needed. And Marcus and Topaz were right behind me. And they them people that if Marcus would have thought about that first, he would have told me that. The most offhanded joke at a funeral.
Yes.
But it was perfect for his son. It was perfect right on time. And he walked out and he left.
But he was dropping them like that all day.
Mm-hmm.
Apparently, well, for the few minutes that he was there, because it was Imani that he told he was alive and well.
Mm-hmm. So he, there were people who were frustrated that he didn't stay and or come up to the front. But if you know Pops, that's not who he is.
Exactly.
So you have to accept him for who he is and where he is. And I already do. Others don't.
It was those same people who were frustrated with him that didn't realize that when nobody else could get to her, he was taking her dinner.
Yes.
If he was in the neighborhood and she needed something, he was there, and they weren't.
And he didn't tell us this until the end.
Yeah.
Because she was difficult at times and had pushed a lot of people away. So when their phones ring, some people didn't answer. And I said what I said. And I got a phone to tell you who didn't answer. But yeah, she would call him and he would drive from the house that they lived in to go all the way up. She got remarried to husband number 2. Got divorced. And to move into her new apartment in Winchester. He paid for her down payment.
Yeah. They do.
that dude.
Yeah, they'll make him like Poppa Swanny no more.
Yeah, he's a good dude. What else you got?
I don't know. I mean, how many more words can you use to say that he's a great guy? I mean, like the best to ever do it.
He wasn't perfect.
He didn't have to be.
And he'll tell you that. But for everyone that knows him, he's exactly what he needs to be for you at that time when you need him. To the point to where when you were just in the hospital, he came and sat with you for damn near half a day.
He did, and he doesn't do that
for nobody.
For nobody.
He said, "I'm on my way," and that was it. He loves you and he protects you.
Yeah.
And
because that time I was in Virginia Beach with my niece because she caught COVID. He called you to make sure I was coming back.
Bruh. Tell me about it. I was eating my potatoes and milk. But he did a bunch of things, and we talked about the Boy Scout. No, we didn't talk about the Cub Scouts.
Not really.
Not really. But he empowered a community to become better just so he could spend time with me.
Yeah.
And those kids today probably have no idea why it happened, but him telling us the stories and others.
But they still always say, I remember your daddy was our Cub Scout leader.
And I don't even remember that your ass was there. But yeah, it was a lot, but he has a lot of lessons that he's still teaching, even financially. Pops paid for every divorce that I've ever had.
That's a lot.
I've had 3 of.
I know. That's why I said that's a lot.
It's like he has an account that says divorce waiting. But
he went ahead and spent that money because I ain't going nowhere.
He probably. That's why he has that truck now. He's like, yep, she's staying. I'm good. But yeah, he has paid for every divorce that I've ever had. And it's not because I was asking him for money. He was like, you need to leave this chick. And I know you don't have the money. So between him and my mom being who she was, hey, Lovell, what you doing?
Right.
And next thing I know, I got a check in the mail from Lovell Swanson. And it went straight to my lawyer every single time. So, yeah. And the one time I had money to actually pay him back, I felt so great, man. I came in and said, Dad, I got something for you. Handed him a check. He's like, keep it. But I got the money now to pay you back. It was never about the money. Right. It was about your safety.
Right.
You needed to get away. Yes, sir. So, yeah. He that dude.
And watching him with his great-granddaughter is funny and amazing because you want a guy to look at you the way Poppa Swanny looks at her.
I'll show a picture right here. But yeah, he I'm glad he's here to see that.
Yeah.
I wish Darlene was able to.
Yeah.
But I'm glad that he's here to at least hold her.
Right.
And to at least talk to her. Regardless of if she remembers it or not, we remember. And the same thing as Darlene, the pictures and the stories will make her think that she knows him. And so, yeah. And he's been planning for her for a long time.
Right.
Where she would have no worries. What you got? Wow. That's a long one. I really don't have anything else.
Neither do I.
Are we missing any aspects of him?
I mean, we could go on forever, but we should probably go ahead.
Okay.
Episode.
Ken's, your great grandfather was an interesting dude.
Is.
He is, right. He's had, his childhood was, I wouldn't wish that shit on nobody. But we'll have him to tell that story.
Yeah, but all the stuff that we wouldn't trade made him who he is.
Yeah, and he wouldn't change it because we've asked him. He's like, "No, I'm good."
Right.
And again, his lessons set me up to be where I am today, to be able to sit in our house at Monday afternoon to record a podcast because we did the groundwork for everything else.
Yeah.
Long game.
Yep.
I love you.
I love you too.
You cool people.
I know.
You did good today.
I did good.
Yeah, you did good today.
I get a gold star?
You did a gold star.
Okay.
I love you. So again, I'm Troy.
And I'm Nicole.
And we're them Swansons. Like and subscribe and do all that other stuff that's down
Click
here
all the
and stuff.
buttons.
Yeah,
Click
there.
all the buttons.
Oh, nice shirt.
Thank you.
I forgot to mention it at the beginning. I'm sorry.
It's okay.
I love you. Can't wait to see the next one.
Again, see, way more. No.
We out.